Hello students, let us start with skywave propagation today. In my previous lecture, I have explained you ground wave propagation. Skywave propagation is something which tries to overcome the limitations of ground wave propagation in terms of the range of frequency and the distance of transmission. Now let us see what actually the skywave propagation is. Skywave propagation is also called as ionospheric wave propagation. Okay. Now when a transmitting signal, that is the signal transmitted from a transmitting antenna, is reflected by the ionospheric layer, that is sky, and is received by the receiving antenna again on the earth station, then this type of propagation is called as skywave propagation. In figure A you can see two antennas are shown, that is the transmitter and the receiver antenna. The pink line shows the direction of the transmitting signal which is reflected back to the reflector antenna, and the curved line shows the signal which has been reflected and gets which has been transmitted and gets reflected back from the ionospheric layer to the receiving antenna. Now here we actually, as I told you just now, skywave have many advantages over ground wave propagation. Let us first discuss about that. Shows The figure shows that the distance of communication must for the skywave propagation is much more as compared to that of the um, ground wave propagation. Here we can use the frequency range, that is 3 megahertz to 30 megahertz. Okay, because the frequency ranging between 3 to 30 megahertz when transmitted gets reflected back by the ionospheric layer due to its property of ionization layer. Now, what is this ionization? I'll explain you. Now, if the frequency is greater than 30 megahertz, then it will penetrate the layer and will be escaped to the space. So, we can say that the frequency greater than 30 megahertz can be used for space wave propagation. So, when the frequency is between 3 to 30 megahertz, the different layers in the ionosphere like D layer, E layer, F1 layer, F2 layer reflects the signal back to the earth, or I may say to the receiving antenna, which is captured by the receiving antenna. Okay. Now, first, let us understand uh, what are these ionospheric layer, how the ionization happens, and then what range of frequencies get reflected by which layer because of this ionization, that we will try to understand from this figure 2. Here I have shown earth. Okay, one antenna, that is a transmitting antenna placed on the earth. Then here three layers are shown by the orange, blue and pink color. Okay, these are different layers of ionosphere. Now, you can see, if I move to the uppermost layer, here this layer, that is the topmost layer of the ionosphere, will receive maximum amount or the large amount of cosmic rays, that is the rays coming from the sun. So here I have shown the density of the cosmic rays that which is heating or which is hitting the uppermost layer of the ionosphere is very large. Okay. Now let us move to one another aspect of this layers. Excuse me. That is, if I move from Earth's surface towards this layer, then the bottommost layer will have the density of atoms more or denser in the lowermost layer. As we move to the upper layer, this density of the atoms become less, and as I go to the topmost layer, you can see with this red dots the density of the items become very very less. Okay, now how this affects the ionization, that we need to see. Now if I again concentrate on the uppermost layer, we can see that here in this case, in the topmost layer, the amount of cosmic rays hitting the uppermost layer is very large, but the density of the items in this layer is very very less as compared to the below other layers. Okay, so when this cosmic rays hit the items of this layer, they will what they will do, they will transfer their energy to the items available over there. These items will break into electrons and protons, or that will release the ions, and this release of ion will cause a ionospheric layer over there. Now since the proportion of the items and the rays hitting the layer is not same, so the ionization happening at this layer will be very less as compared to the other layers. Now if you can see uh, here in this diagram at the second layer, all the cosmic rays which do not get or which do not cause ionization in the uppermost layer, they will come and hit the second layer of ionosphere. Now here the amount of items is moderate. Okay, whereas the amount of cosmic rays hitting that layer is also moderate. So uh, the this proportion will create quite a good number of ionization, and here at this layer, that is the middle layer, will have more ionization as compared to the topmost layer. Now whatever cosmic rays which do not happens to create ionization in the second layer will come down to the lower layer. They will hit the lower layer. Here unfortunately you can see the cosmic rays, amount of cosmic rays hitting the lowest layer is very less, but the amount or the density of the items in this layer is very high. But since again the proportion between the cosmic rays and the amount of uh, uh, items is very less, it is not good of good proportion, the ionization happening is very less. So we can say that the ionization happening at the topmost layer and the bottommost layer is less as compared to that of the middle layer. Okay, the middle layer, since the moderate due to the moderate number of cosmic rays and the moderate number of items present in that layer, will cause a good amount of ionization layer that you can see from this diagram. Okay, now let us move on to how the reflection or what frequency gets reflected by which range. Okay, um, here we can see now. Let us understand what happens when the signal is transmitted from the antenna, and as I told you just now, what signal gets reflected back by which layer. Okay, that we will see from this diagram itself again. So here you can see now the antenna is transmitting, say suppose 2 megahertz of signal. It will get reflected back by the lowermost layer. If the antenna is transmitting 15 megahertz of signal, it will get reflected back by the middle layer. If the antenna is transmitting the range of frequency which is 30 megahertz, then the topmost layer will reflect it back. Okay, if the signal is more than 30 megahertz, then you can see it will penetrate the topmost layer and it gets escaped to the space. So this frequency can also be used for space wave propagation. If here you can see the another diagram wherein the exact description of the layers, their name, and what distance do they maintain from the Earth's surface, as whereas there from the graph shown over here, what is the exact density of ionization happening at that layer is shown by this graph. So let us know that. See, this is the Earth's surface. The bottommost layer is named as D layer, which maintains 50 to 90 kilometers of distance from the Earth's surface. Then comes E layer that maintains 90 to 140 kilometers of distance from the Earth. Then F1 layer that maintains 140 to 250 kilometers of distance from the Earth's surface. F2 layers maintains 250 to 400 kilometers of distance from the Earth's surface. Now the graph which I have shown over here, in accordance to the layer itself, you can see that is distance versus ionization density. The ionization density is very less when it comes to D layer and F2 layer, whereas it is very high at F1 layer and moderately high or good at E layer. Okay, so this reason of all these things I have explained you in the above figure, which must have been clear to you. Okay, so now there's another thing which controls the skywave propagation. Now whatever points I have discussed now, that tells us that frequency is one of the important parameters which controls the skywave propagation. But then there is another aspect which controls the skywave propagation, and that is angle of propagation. All of us know very well know that if the angle is more than critical angle, then the reflection happens. Here I have given the example. So this is a denser region and this is the rarer region. If any signal is passing through the denser region to the rarer region and the angle is greater than critical angle, then the reflection happens. Else it will penetrate the bifurcation and it will be escaped. Okay, based on these two things, the skywave propagation happens. I hope you have understood the concept. In my next lecture, I will explain you space wave propagation. Okay, in that we will see all this characteristic, how exactly the space wave propagation happens. Thank you for watching the lecture. If you have any doubt, you can always ask me.